The Real Housewives of Potomac's 5th season is underway, and our producer Sam Balikoff caught up with Monique Samuels about all of the drama that's going down this season, including how she's feeling about her headline-making altercation with Candiace Dillard set to hit airwaves, her rocky relationship with Gizelle Bryant, and so much more. Watch this.
Monique, how are you doing?
I'm good. I was just in my office fulfilling some orders. My Not For Lazy Mom store opened up, and it's been like amazing watching all the orders come in. My kids are helping me in the office, so yeah. I'm on cloud 9 right now.
I'm so glad you found your bird T'Challa, who, by the way, was the star of the season premiere. I'm sure I'm not the only one who said that to you.
He needs a champagne glass.
Did you get a kick out of how the other ladies reacted to him this season? I mean, we've seen Karen in the premiere, but...
Yes. Yeah, no, everybody thought that I was the crazy bird lady, and they didn't understand because a lot of them don't really know me like that. So I am such an animal lover. Like, I am obsessed with animals. I like animals more than I like people, honestly.
It looks like there's a moment in the trailer where he's flying straight towards Wednesday's head and she has a big reaction. What can you tease there?
Wendy was doing a lot of talking at that moment. And I think he was just like, all right, that's enough.
What do you think of Wendy in general?
I think she's cool. I think she's a really good addition. She's definitely a force. She's headstrong. She has all the ingredients to being a great housewife. So I'm looking forward to seeing more of Wendy this season.
Yeah, so I interviewed Gizelle recently, and she spilled to me that Wendy and Karen don't get along this season. What can you tease there, and what do you think is at the root of their issues?
Well, as always, I believe Gizelle is at the root of their issues. She always finds her way into some way to just make a mess of things, so I would not be surprised. I really don't know. I think that they maybe have gotten off to a bad start, but you know, I'm sure they'll recover. I think one thing that probably turned Karen off was her making a comment about her sex life that we saw in episode 2. It's like, who does that? You know, so that was totally disrespectful and out of line. And, you know, so if you rub somebody the wrong way right from the beginning, it's kind of hard to recover. And then eventually we'll see if they are able to like hash it out and move forward.
Do you think Gizelle's at the root of their problems? I mean, can you tease to something happen, or do you just think she's always stirring the pot in general?
She's always stirring the pot and she's miserable, so I'm just not surprised. Misery loves company, and she does her best to try to bring people to her level, so.
In this week's episode, you and Gizelle seem to be getting back on the right track, which surprised me, some of the other castmates, viewers. Was that like one outlier, or can you tease, like, do you guys are in a good place and then it goes left again?
Oh, well, I mean, Gizelle's fake, and I'm always cautious with her. So I felt like her trying to be friendly towards me had another underlying, you know, tone to it. So I was definitely cautious dealing with her. And when she did flip on me, I wasn't surprised. But that's just who she is. That's what she always does. I've seen it. I've seen how she interacts even with her close friends on the show. And it's always some reason behind her being nice. It's like a setup.
You two have never really gotten along. What do you think is at the root of those issues? I mean, you could speak for yourself, but on both sides, what do you think is really going on?
Well, I'm a person that's always open to being friendly to people and getting along with people. I'm not a person that would just like seek to hurt someone or hate someone. And that is what Gizelle is. She's a hateful, miserable person. Maybe her life has not gone the way that she anticipated it to go. And, you know, she's just hateful. So some of the things that she does is like really disgusting. It's very disturbing that you have people who they care so much for a storyline or, you know, just being on TV in general, that they could totally disregard you as a person, you, your family, and everything that you stand for and what your character is, you know? So it's just sad that there are people out there like that, and that's just how it happens to be her. And I'm always trying to be open to be friendly, but at some point you just gotta draw the line and just say, you know what, I've been down that road too many times and I'm not going down the road anymore.
Yeah. Seems like you two are mostly down, usually, besides the blip earlier, but her and Karen are always up and down. What would you say is their relationship is like this season?
I think that it's always gonna be up and down. And the reason why people like Karen and I could never fully have a great relationship with a person like Gizelle is because we have our own minds and we can't be controlled. And Gizelle likes to be around people who she feels she can control. So her and Karen have this battle constantly because they've known each other a long time. And Karen's the type of person that's like, you're not going to tell me or bully me or do anything that I don't want or agree with. And Gizelle can't handle that.
Yeah. So in last week's episode, there were rumors that Charisse had been spreading to the group about your marriage. You initially didn't want to talk about it in your interview. I'm wondering if you asked the other ladies to not talk about it too, and if you were surprised watching it back that Gizelle laid it all out there?
Yeah, I was surprised because the rumors that what she put out there was not the only part. The rumors were disgusting. They were terrible. I did not want to talk about it at all. Everyone in that circle knew about the rumors because Charisse and another person who was outside the circle came up with this whole situation, and Charisse delivered it to the ladies. So it was a hot mess. Everyone knew about it. Everyone knew that the mess wasn't true. And of course, Gizelle would be the miserable person to actually air it out on TV. And we'll deal with that. That's what reunion's for.
We see that Charisse shows up in this week's episode. Was her popping up and this rumor something that keeps coming up all season that you had to struggle with, or does it get put to bed soon?
I'm not sure because I didn't stay long enough to entertain any type of conversation. So I don't know what they talked about. No one ever came back and told me anything. So I have no idea. But the fact that you would try to take something so ugly as your introduction back to a show, to me, that's just so pressed and so thirsty, and it's sad. It's really sad, especially being that Gizelle at one point was spreading rumors about Charisse and a fireman when Charisse was still married to her ex-husband. So it's like, it's just disappointing. But the only thing that I can ever think to make it make sense is that misery loves company.
Just to clarify, when you said you didn't stay long enough, you mean in this specific episode? Like you left?
I didn't stay long enough around Charisse, ever. So like, people talk about self-control. I definitely, lost my self-control with the incident with Candiace, but I'm a person where if I know that I don't need to be in spaces with a certain person, then I'm going to mentally prepare myself so that I don't go there. And if I feel like people are trying to push me, then I know how to walk away. So I was able to execute that early on.
You also joked about taking away butter knives from Candiace a couple of times, which is a reference to last season. Was that you just being funny, or were you trying to be petty? Like, would she have actually been riled up if she sat down and had no knife?
So that was a combination of funny and petty and being absolutely serious. When we were at the dinner party, season 4, and she did the whole butter knife thing, if you saw my reactions, I didn't think any of it was funny. I was actually very much disturbed and bothered watching that whole dinner go down, to the point where I said that night, I will never come back in this house. And I have not been back at that house since. That's how bothered I was. So I was more so concerned that I don't want this situation happening again. Candiace has a tendency to pick up things and she starts tapping and banging and, so that was my way of saying, all right, we need to make sure that we are all comfortable sitting here and we have some peace. But yeah, it was definitely like a combination, a 3-way combo there.
So drag me? Do you want me to drag you? Hey! Get off of me! Get off of me!
I by no means want to be near you.
And maybe I don't need to be a part of this anymore.
So I want to ask, we've all seen the headlines and the trailer, and we know that you and Candiace have an altercation this season. So we'll have to see how it all plays out, but reflecting on it, I'm curious if you could tell me from your perspective, out of 100, like what percentage do you think you're to blame and what percentage do you think Candiace is to blame?
I think it's 50-50. I had no intention, I had no desire to just start fighting somebody. I feel like I matched her energy and one thing led to another and we both were out of control. So I would definitely say 50-50. I own my share. I have no problem with admitting the parts that I was wrong, but I am going to stand my ground and give you a reason for why I felt the way I felt. And at the end of the day, when you've witnessed a person's belligerent behavior and then they approach you in a manner in which you start feeling defensive, I'm not going to wait and see if somebody's going to do anything to harm me. I'm going to be on guard. So I can only take what I know as history. Someone waving a knife in someone's face and then tossing it at them and then darn near fighting their own husband trying to get at that person. So I don't play with people like that.
Yeah, so I don't want to harp on it too much because we'll see how it all plays out, but I'm curious if you're looking forward to it airing, whether that's to put it behind you or maybe clear things up, or if you're nervous about it coming up. Like, what's your mindset?
My mindset is I just can't wait to get it over with. You know, like the anticipation that everyone has, all of the talk, all of the people, you know, they're trying to speculate. Even right now, episode 2, they're trying to speculate like, oh, what provoked the fight or what started the fight, you know? So I'll be happy when it's done and we can move forward, and then everyone can come up with their own conclusion, draw their own conclusion after they're able to see how everything unfolds throughout the season.
Yeah. You said on Instagram Live recently that you're definitely not quitting the show and may even stay on to make the other ladies upset. Do you really feel they'd be upset if you stayed on?
Absolutely. They did a lot to try to get me off last year and it didn't work. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like, some people have real life hate for you, and that's unfortunate. And, you know, at one point I did want to walk away, but at the end of the day, I'm like, you know what? I'm here for the people who do support me, and I'm here to tell my story, and I'm not going to let anyone else tell it for me. So I ain't going nowhere.
For more of Monique Samuels, you can check out her website, notforlazymoms.com, and her new book, Potty Training Mommy and Daddy, a guide for introducing infant potty training as early as 6 months old. It's available on Amazon and her site. And of course, watch her in The Real Housewives of Potomac, airing Sundays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Bravo. And we'll have even more of our interview with Monique on Monday, including a